capitalist. And guess what? I was messing around with it. Yet today, right? And then I put angels. I'm like, oh yeah, this might be like a new, like, you could see what your property, like if you have any mice or stuff. And I'm like, it deletes every single thing I had. I had like a 1 quadrillion dollars. Yes, I did. I couldn't even do
Even if I tried. And with that said, I've only gone and played like realistically a decent amount. I could put it in the C tier. It is playable, but for the pay to win and the fact that the game just isn't that fun, it's going to be in the D tier. Since we're talking about bad pay-to-win games, let's go and pull out another Armored Warfare, boys. It's basically World of Tanks, but worse. It's like the reject shop version of it. It's just going to be sitting in the D tier. There's not much to go and talk about it. Don't play it if you get the chance. Alright, we're talking about a lot of bad games. Let's go and pull out a good one. And I think the first really good...
As a gamer, you know how frustrating it can be when you experience a slow or inconsistent game connection. Fluctuations in game speed or lag.
Title to go and talk about is Counter-Strike Global Offensive, boys. This is the top tier free-to-play first-person shooter, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, it is the best first-person shooter of all time in my opinion, and in my free-to-play first-person shooter tier list, I'll leave a link in the description below. I gave it an S tier. In this video, I'm going to be giving it an S tier as well. It's on top of the Steam store, just overall and in the free-to-play section for a reason. Now, we've talked about a lot of shooty type games, and not all of the games on this list are going to be shooters, but let's go and pull out one that you guys would not expect, and that is Doki Doki. And this is a truly unique game in that it captivated a massive audience with its great cutesy graphics, its cutesy art, but to go and check it out. Next one to talk about is Maple Story 2, the sequel to the original Maple Story, which took over the whole free-to-play space back in 2012. But this game is the sequel, and honestly, it isn't that bad. The change from 2D to 3D is a bit jarring, but with that said, it has the whole theme of Maple Story is completely throughout this game. It's not pay to win, the combat's fun, there's a lot of classes, there's a lot of depth to the game, and honestly, a lot of content. I feel like it's going to be sitting probably maybe A-, but we're going to sit it in the B tier for now. Next game to go and talk about is APB Reloaded, and this is a Grand Theft Auto style game where you can either play as the police or a criminal, and overall it's a back and forth tug to try to go and fight over the city. It had a great concept, and honestly I played a decent amount of it. However, patch after patch, complete mismanagement, pay to win, lag, hackers, everything in between. The game was, oh man, so much fun, but now... man, I want to put it in the trash tier, but the core concept of the game was so enjoyable that I think it's worth to go and put it in the D tier for now. Battle Right is a MOBA style game that is played in a very tight-knit arena. You don't have a laning phase or anything like that, you just get straight into the action, and honestly it's a game that I should go and play more. I played maybe about half an hour or so, and with that said, my first impressions were very positive and the reviews on this game are very positive, but I haven't gone and played enough to go and give it a full review, so we're going to be sitting in the NA tier for now, but in the near future I have to go and check out this game more. Ah yes, Dirty Bomb, the title that everybody wanted to succeed, but it just never really took off, and it's such a sad case. Honestly, this game took so many hours of my last couple of years, and for good reason. It is a fast-paced, class-based, first-person shooter, and one of the best free-to-play first-person shooters in my opinion, but because of everything that's happened to it and the fact that the game is basically dead, there is no more support, no more development, we're going to be sitting it in the B tier. Now with that said, Dirty Bomb still has community servers, so go and check it out if you've never played this game before. I guarantee you will have at least a little bit of fun. It is a really good title. Another first-person shooter to go and talk about is Fistful of Frags, which is a Wild Wild West type first-person shooter where it's more about trying to go aim your shots, trying to land your shots with, single-shot pistols and shotguns and stuff like that, rather than spraying automatic weapons and using really powerful guns. This game is more about the skill, more about mind games, rather than actual raw mechanical skill, and it is very, very enjoyable indeed. I've put maybe an hour or two into it, so I don't have the best opinion. I'm not 100% sure about the player population, but from what I played, I think it is worthy of a B tier, but it's not in the same vein, maybe a C tier. I'd say it's a C tier given I haven't gone and played that much of it, but probably C+. It is a very, very solid game, and I'd say it'd be in between these two tiers for sure. Alright guys, I know you've been waiting for this one, and that is Brawlhalla. And boys, this is basically Smash But on the PC, and it is very, very, very enjoyable. Honestly, I would go and play it more if I was more into these type of titles, but from what I went and played, I was very, very impressed. But I haven't gone and played it in about a year and a half, so I can't really go and give an up-to-date opinion, but from what I played back in the day, it would be in the B tier, but I have to put it in NA for now, given that I am not really accustomed to the updates and how the game has evolved. Next one to talk about is Cuisine Royale. This is a weird title. It's a battle royale game that was made as a meme, but in the end of it, it actually turned out to be a fantastic game where you can go and strap, pans and colanders onto your head as armor, and you can pick up guns. It's really wonky, really, really fun though, and honestly, I am going to go put it in the C tier. Not that it is a bad game, but it was a game made as a meme, and it functions quite well for that, but it's not something I would keep regularly coming back to. But honestly, solid title, go and check it out if you haven't. Now, when we're talking about free-to-play games on the PC, in the shooter battle royale domain, one game always goes and comes up, and that is Ring of Elysium. Now, this is basically, it doesn't try to go and reinvent the wheel. It doesn't go and do anything crazy by putting building or anything like that. It doesn't try to go and change up the formula completely. It just goes and iterates on it. It goes and does a very, very good job as a basic shooter-type battle royale game where you pick up guns, you pick up gear, you go in vehicles, so on and so on, but you also have snowboards and stuff like that, and bicycles if you want to go and get around the map a bit quicker, and it does the battle royale experience very, very well. However, the game has a problem where you have to go and log into it as an admin, and because of that, the developers can go and see all your computer's processes, can see absolutely everything about your PC, and so with that said, in terms of the game itself, I would put it in a B tier, but in terms of the security flaws, we're going to be putting it in the trash tier. Don't go and play Ring of Elysium if you care about your information. Next one I'm going to talk about is Dreadnought, which is one of these massive spaceship games where you can go and verse other massive spaceships. And from what I played of it, a couple of hours or so, really, really did enjoy it. I haven't gone into the late game. I haven't gone really, really super in depth with it, but it's, it's probably a... Man, I don't want to put it in the same vein as Dirty Bomb, and that's why I've been putting games in C tier, but I suppose C tier is average and Dreadnought is average, and it belongs in that tier. So with that said, I'm not going to be as liberal as I was in my previous tier list when it comes to B tier. B tier, is definitely above average, A above that, so on, so on. So I feel like it sits in the C tier for now. If you guys went and watched my free-to-play first-person shooter list, you would have gone and seen my rating for Black Squad, which is a Korean first-person shooter, painfully generic, but it is executed quite well, has a lot of content, overall quite a lot of fun. Let's chuck it in the B tier. Smite to me has always been the third-person League of Legends. It's been developed by high-risk studios who are known to go and rip off games, arguably, did they go and rip off, Overwatch with Paladins? Who knows? The chicken and the egg type scenario for that, but with Smite was definitely after League of Legends and Dota 2, so they took MOBA, put it in the third person, and it's executed quite well. Now, I haven't gone and played this game in the last year or so, but from what I went and played, it was a very, very solid game, and I want to kind of put it between here. I think we'll sit it in the B tier for now. I don't want to go and give it an A tier until I go and check it out again, but it is a very, very, very good game if you want the third-person MOBA without, instead of right-clicking the move, you can use WASD. It's a very different perspective, but it's the same type of concept. Alright guys, I know you've been waiting for this game, so let's go and pull it out, and that is Path of Exile. And I could go and talk about Path of Exile for so long. I grinded this game so hard a couple years ago. I put so many hours into it, and it gave me so much joy. I haven't gone and played it much since because, you know, university, you know, YouTube and all that. But this is a game that I've always wanted to go and get back into, and I've been checking out YouTube channels that go and cover it, and there is so much content for this game. If you want an MMO to go and sink a ton of time into, Path of Exile is your game. It's sitting in the S tier. It is it's probably the best MMO on the whole Steam store. Probably the whole Steam store, but in terms of the free-to-play section, definitely goes and dominates. Here is Fallout Shelter, which is basically a micro this game RPG games that is pay to win and just complete trash D tier. As you can see, the D tier is stacking up. There's a lot of really bad games on the Steam store. But a game that I won't go and put in a D tier is Fallout Shelter, which is basically a micromanagement type game. You know, civilians come in, you have to go and, you know, delegate them to certain areas of your vault. And with that said, it's a fun hero shooter, you know, dynamic, but it does its own spin. It has a lot of content. Taking my bias out, I'd probably put it in the B tier, but for me, it's a C tier. It doesn't really go and tickle my fancy. Alright boys, Paladins, the game that everybody says completely ripped off Overwatch. In my opinion, it does the whole hero shooter, you know, dynamic, but it does its own spin. It has a lot of content, has a lot of depth, and overall, I enjoy it more than Overwatch. It is a really great game, and definitely a game you should go and check out. And with that said, B tier is all games that I really suggest you guys to check out, so we're going to go and set it here for now. I gave it A in one of my previous videos, but B for now. I think it's the right decision. Realm Royale, boys. The game that everybody said, okay, it's just a side project for, you know, Paladins and all that. It's just a trash game. And when it came out, it definitely was not so good. But, you know, it's been updated. It's in a really good state. And I would recommend it basically as much as I would recommend Paladins and any one of these games. So, again, another B tier title. Alright boys, we have a doozy, and that's PlanetSide 2, the MMO FPS open world title that is really solid. And the fact that the game has got really regular updates over the last couple of months, I think it's worthy of an A tier. It was an A tier back in the day, but then it just completely dropped off, probably down to a C, B tier. But it's going back up. It has a decent player base, and honestly, if you want a game that has so much content and so much depth to it, then PlanetSide 2 is for you. And the fact that it's open world is a completely new dynamic. I'm looking down at my taskbar, and there's so many games that I just, oh my god, I want to go and rant about. So let's go and pull out one of them. Heroes and Generals. It'd be a very small rant. This game, it's just a rushed, not very well polished, pay to win, very lackluster World War II type, you know, first person shooter. And honestly, it's a game that is very buggy and not worth you playing. Is it playable? Yes. Is it worth playing? No. Chuck it in the D tier. I saw this game pop up and I had to go and talk about it, and that is Shadowverse, a game that a lot of people are going to compare to games like Hearthstone, where it's a trading card game basically. But with that said, with its anime aesthetic, it's a bit more in line. It has very fair RNG, no pay to win from what I've heard, very positive ratings on the Steam store. I've put a bit of time into it. I probably should put some more, but I think it is worth putting in the A tier for now. I think the A tier for now is it's a solid rating. Now, a game that has recently hit the Steam store and made quite a bit of an impact is Kurtzpil, which is a very anime-styled MMORPG. And I want to play this game so damn badly, but the Steam, you know, closed beta is locked to North America, I believe. So since I'm from Australia, I can't go and play it. So I haven't played this title yet. I really want to play it. The gameplay looks so cool, but for now, we're going to put it in the NA tier. Splitgate Arena Warfare, a new free-to-play first-person shooter that has come out. It made a bit of a splash given that it's free-to-play and it's Portal, but Halo. I played a bit of it, but my attention just wasn't grasped. I think that the mechanics are really, you know, They're not very thought out very well. There isn't too much meat on the bone per se, and maybe in the future I'll go and check it out, but from my first impressions it didn't grip me enough to go and play more of it, so it's gonna sit probably in the C tier. I don't know why I went and put this game in this tier list, given that I have never played it before, but Star Trek Online, a lot of people play it. I don't know why. Maybe I should go and check it out. Go and tell me in the comment section below, but you know, I'm just going to put it in NA, given that I have never played it before. Alright guys, so the next title to go and check out is RoboCraft. Remember how we talked about Crossout and we said that this is, you know, the more younger cousin, but it's actually, you know, a really, really solid game. You can go and customize your vehicles however you like. You can go and play in lots of wacky modes, and it is, you know, it's a solid game. I'd probably put it B minus. For now, we'll probably put it in the C, probably B tier, mate. Yeah, let's put it in B tier for now. It is a really, really fun game, and you can make your imagination go wild. A game, however, that I can definitely go and rate is Warface, and if you guys know anything about my channel, you guys know that I just don't fancy this game. I think it's quite overrated. The graphics are nice, the gameplay is nice, but the pay to win and the fact that the game has a really terrible rip-off battle royale mode doesn't go and help it out either. I'm gonna go and sit it in the C tier. I think it's, you know, probably quote-unquote a more developed game than a lot of titles on here, but in my opinion it just isn't that good of a free-to-play first-person shooter. Oh my god, this game right here, Tiger Knight, is absolutely, it's just craziness. You go on a horse and you ride into combat into massive sprawls of enemies and you swipe your sword and you go and kill them. From what I played, it was many years ago, it was quite fun, but it had a lot of problems. It was quite buggy. We're going to go and chuck it in the C tier. And as you can see, we've got quite a lot of games stacking up and we have quite a few.
You see 50 people that you're about to kill, and you're saying that it is lag.
Left to talk about. Quake Champions, boys. Oh, man, this is a very, very hard to rate game, given that the actual title itself is incredibly fun, very fast-paced, frantic combat. However, the game has just gone downhill with terrible updates, not focusing on the core issues, which is new player viability, and also going and helping out the veterans, giving content towards the veterans, the people that are more likely going to be playing this game. Very, very fast-paced, very, very fun. It's going to be sitting in the C tier, but it could be very close to a D tier in the coming months. The game just isn't going in the direction that it needs to. Ah, yes, boys. Infestation, the new Z. Otherwise known as War Z, otherwise known as a myriad of other names. This is a game that, oh my god, it's based off DayZ, kind of. It's a zombie PvP type game. It's gone through so many iterations. And one of my friends absolutely loves and swears by it. I tried it out a couple of months ago, I believe, maybe a year or so ago, and I was just not a fan of it. I was just not a fan of it at all. It's gonna go in the D tier. Sad because it had potential, but overall, it's a mess of a game. Maybe I'm gonna put it in trash tier actually. Or should I? Yeah, I'm gonna put it in trash tier. It is not worth playing. Another game that goes straight in the trash tier is Varium. It is a post-apocalyptic shooter that was laggy and filled with hackers. I'm not going to go and spend much more time on it. Vainglory, a MOBA that everybody was saying, oh, it goes and rips off League of Legends. And yes, it kind of rips off the 3v3 aspect of League of Legends, but it actually is quite well done. I haven't gone and played it on the PC, but I've played it on the mobile, and it was actually kind of fun. Now, with that said, can I go and rate the PC experience? Not really, so I'll be a bit conservative and put it in the C tier, but it could potentially get a B tier. But if you're going to go and play a MOBA, you either play Dota 2 or you play League of Legends. So, you know, I think C is good for now. Alrighty, Sniper Fury. If you've ever seen this game before, it's cropped up on my channel before. It is a mobile game ported to the PC. It is completely pay to win. It's full of microtransactions, and man, Gameloft, they completely dropped the ball in this game. It is complete trash. It's going in the trash tier. Unturned, one of those Minecrafty looking type games. It's got the blocky graphics, but a massive community behind it. Has great combat, It's a bit rough around the edges, but given that it is really supported and there's a lot of different things that you can go and do, there's battle royale modes, there's so much stuff. I haven't gone and played it within, the last year too. So with that said, I can't go and give it a definitive rating, so we'll put it in the NA tier. I was going to say North American tier, but with that said, it probably will sit in the B tier if I go and play it, anytime soon. Alright guys, so we got a bit of a distribution going, and I want to go and pull out some titles that I know you guys want to hear my opinion about. The first one is Warframe. Warframe, boys, oh my god. This is one of my favorite games of the last couple of years. It is so crazy how much content they have packed into this fast-paced MMO style game where you run around as a space ninja and you can run so many different weapons and so many different customizations, and the storyline is insane. And I've made videos on this game before. I'll probably link in the description below. I don't have time to explain why I love this game so much, but if you haven't gone and played Warframe before, go and play it. Play it right now. Download it. Download Warframe and Path of Exile right now, and Counter-Strike if you haven't gone and played them. These games are insane. I was pulling this game off the taskbar, and I was like, oh, War Thunder, let's go and talk about that next. But no, it's War Robot, a mobile game ported to the PC, which should have stayed on the mobile. It's actually kind of fun on the mobile, but on the PC, it's a trash tier game. Do not go and play it. There's many other mech games that you could probably go and play instead, like Mech Hammer, I believe, or I think it's one Mech something. I know it's on the Steam store. We're not talking about it today, but it's got decent enough ratings from what I can go and remember. Vindictus, another Nexon game, boys. You guys know I've played basically every Nexon game under the sun, and Vindictus is one of them. It is an MMORPG with insanely great graphics, really great combat, but the game is dead, and honestly, I'd love to go and put more time into it, but it's a game that doesn't really have much of a future. I think during its heyday, I would have probably put it in the B tier, but the fact that it's an MMORPG without a core community, it's going to sit in the C tier. As you can see, we've got a lot of C tier games, which is, to be expected. Now, here's the game that I was talking about before, War Thunder, boys. War Thunder. Oh, God, I really have put a lot of hours into this title. And you've got the naval aspect, you've got the plane aspect, you've got the tank aspect. It's got it all. And honestly, this is the title to go and play if you want to go and have that real World War II experience in a vehicle rather than on land shooting, a rifle or stuff like that. Really solid title. I'm feeling an A tier, but I haven't gone and played it in a while. And I know there's been a lot of updates. But with that said, it's a solid game. Definitely recommend it. Probably put it in the B tier. We might shuffle it around to A tier in the future. Now, we've talked about War Thunder. Let's go and talk about World of Tanks. And for this one, it's World of Tanks Blitz, because that's the version that is on Steam, which is a mobile game ported to the PC. And honestly, it's okay, but just play. If you want to play World of Tanks, play normal World of Tanks. Don't go and play the Blitz version, but it's still an okay game, but D tier. I've left a few of the doozies to last, and the first one is VR Chat, a game that you guys probably forgot about and then remembered and then forgot about and remembered. It's a game that I have put a few hours into, and it's so fun just walking around and socializing people on mic, and you can go and role play whoever you want, and it's kind of enjoyable. I haven't gone and played it very recently, but from the the hours I played about a year or so ago, man, it's a solid title. It's going to sit in the C tier. It fits the niche. If you're talking about VR games, it probably is an S tier, but in the whole scope of the Steam free-to-play store, it's probably a C tier. Alright, so I've debated you guys around enough. I know you guys have been wanting to see my opinion on these games. The first one we're going to be talking about is Dota 2. Dota 2 is the quintessential MOBA game, the rival to League of Legends. Now, I have to go and say, boys, I'm a League of Legends guy. I have sunk like so many hours into that game, but Dota, I haven't gone and sunk that many. I've played a little bit of it, but it just isn't for me. It just isn't for me. I'm just too used to the mechanics of League of Legends. So with that said, I'm going to put it in the NA tier, given I haven't gone and played it enough. But from, if I put a bit more hours into it, I go and really form a solid opinion, I would go and say A tier probably. given the scope of the Steam store, it probably deserves an S tier, but I just haven't put enough hours. We're going to sit it in the NA tier for now. Alright guys, we've got a few left. Let's go and pull out some of the loosies that I haven't gone to talk about. Argo, it's one of those Armor 2 type based games where it has that realistic combat, but man, it's just not very well done. I haven't gone and played it in ages. I think the game's basically dead, but from what I played, it was actually quite fun. So C tier for that. Counter-Strike Next and Zombies. I don't know why I keep talking about this title, but it's Counter-Strike 1.6 with a free-to-play spin and zombies, and I don't know. It's very, very weird. Let's go and sit it in the D tier. I think it deserves that title. And with that said, boys, we have one last game to go and talk about, and that is Team Fortress 2. Now, Team Fortress 2, in my previous video, I said that it was a B tier and that Paladins was better. Now, I will go and say that I was wrong in that video. Team Fortress 2 is not a B tier game. People said it's an S tier game, and if I'm looking at all the games here and I'm saying, what should I recommend in terms of first-person shooters? Team Fortress 2 over PlanetSide 2, over Paladins, over Dirty Bomb, over Black Squad. It makes sense, and I think it deserves the S tier. Probably I'd say A+, given that the game has been a bit up and down and all that, but the fact that so many people play it, has a really big community, I think it's worth recommending, given that you're guaranteed to have a really fun time. So Team Fortress 2 S tier. All of these games were guaranteed to be S tier. Doki Doki with the the little
Paladins. I'm giving Paladins. Paladins. Where's my Steam? Right. But since it's worth them here. Tear. Preview. Battle begins. Battle. Ball. Ball. Brawler. Okay, guys. Yes, next. Yes. We're gonna play one of those games. Okay, I'm gonna get something. Oh, did you guys see this one? You know why? Because it's one of those YouTuber fighting games with the cartoons. SpongeBob. I'm just gonna get around like.
Welcome to Brawlhalla Online. Caspian. Three, two, one, brawl! Net. Three, two, one, brawl!
actually getting what it is. I think I think it's wait, let's just see this.
Nash. 3, 2, 1, brawl! online. Next. Three, two, 3, 2, 1, brawl! Player 2 wins. Bryn. 3, 2, 1, brawl!
What? guys.